Hey guys, it's me again. I'm happy to welcome you back to my channel. Today's topic is gonna be old, stale bread and what you can do with it because it's way too precious to just throw it out. So yeah, here I'm gonna show you a recipe how you can use it. We're gonna make spinach dumplings with a leek and mushroom cream like sauce. And yeah, it's right like a really nice, hearty vegetarian dish. And it's a great way to use old bread. And first we're gonna start cutting or chopping our old bread. As you can see, mine has been sitting out for a long time. So it's great that I get the opportunity to use it now. But if you don't got old bread lying around, don't worry. I think like most stores have breadcrumbs you can buy, or I think the recipe should even work with like normal toast or like even soft bread. Just make sure you don't use that much liquid in the dumpling dough. I'm gonna show you later how much milk or almond milk I'm gonna use, so keep that in mind. But yeah, after we cut our bread pieces into chunks, the smaller the better, by the way, because the batter or the dumpling dough needs to absorb all the liquids, and the smaller the pieces are, the less time they take. So also keep that in mind. I was pretty lazy at that moment and had to wait quite some time. So I'm warning you right now. By the way, if you want to recreate the recipe, I'm gonna put every measurement and ingredient down in the video description so you can find it there. And yeah, cook along with me. And next we're gonna start mixing our liquids together. For that we're gonna use 250 milliliters of almond milk. I'm using almond milk, but you can choose any milk you like, also regular or oat milk. And we're gonna mix it with 2 eggs. Just take a fork and whisk it, or take a whisk and whisk it until it's like nice and homogeneous. And yeah, then you can pour the mixture we just made on top of the breadcrumbs and just let them soak up all the goodness. And move on and chop up an onion that is also going to be part of the dumpling dough. I sped up the process of cutting the onion. As you can see, just chopping it pretty roughly, but you also want to be sure to not cut them too big, because then you're gonna have a big chunk of onion that you can chew on, and we just want to incorporate it very nicely into the dough. Then we're gonna put the onion with a little bit of margarine or oil, choose what you like best, into a pan and just saute them for a bit until they get transparent and nice and charred. And we're gonna add some herbs and spices. I'm choosing cumin and turmeric and black pepper because turmeric and black pepper, they work so good together. They have turmeric in general has some very nice anti-inflammatory qualities, and the pepper in the pepper, it just enhances the effect. So yeah, we always want to keep that in mind. And yeah, just mix them around and let them cook until they're nice and translucent. And also some garlic powder and cardamom just to add even more depth. It's just so good. And yeah, then stir it around, let it rest for a bit, and then you can add the frozen spinach. It's best to take frozen spinach because it's already cut up. And in general, it just it adds like some more nutrients and nice green color. So it's perfect. And we're gonna take like half of a package. I think that's also around like 200 grams, and just let it heat up. And yeah, the easiest and most convenient way is just to put it in the pan, then put a lid on and let it thaw for a bit, and then just keep stirring until it's a nice homogeneous mass, and then we can put it onto our breadcrumbs. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and before we're gonna do that, we have to stir up our bread mixture, and as you can see, they're nice and soaked up. I had to wait for quite some time because they're big chunks, but now we can put in our onion and spinach mixture and start stirring everything around. And I know it looks kind of gross, but we have to get everything off the spatula. We don't want to waste anything, so we're gonna have to put it like this and then just keep stirring until it's a nice homogeneous mass like this. And you can scrape down the sides and press it together to get like really nice and come together as one. And while that's resting and soaking up all the goodness, we're gonna start making the sauce. And I'm choosing leek and mushrooms, but if you don't like mushrooms, you can also replace them with zucchini or I don't know, anything you like, or just leave them out. But I had to use this leek. As you can see, it had some yellow leaves, and just because your vegetables got some bad spots, it doesn't mean you have to throw them out. Just remove the bad parts and then you can use them as usual. Yeah, then I I cut up the leek in small pieces so that they cook through evenly, and then I cut up the mushrooms. Okay, and after our mushrooms are cut up, we're gonna have a look at our dough again. It should be sticky, but not too wet, but also not too dry. But like now's the time to add more liquid if it's too dry. But if it's too wet, that's not a problem. We're gonna add some flour later because we want to have a nice like component that binds it together also while cooking. And if you forgot the flour, it's no problem. You can still add it after you even once cook them in the water. I've made this mistake before with some friends. Shout out to you, Philipp und Tabitha. But I mean, mistakes are the best opportunity to learn. So I guess it's good, so I can warn you right now. And after all this mixing, we can season it with salt and add 60 grams of flour. But we're not gonna add the flour right now. We're gonna wait until this big pot of water is boiling. So just take a really, really big pot. The dumplings need the space. Salt it generously and then wait until it's boiling. And yeah, then we can start adding the flour. We want to do it right before we boil them, so it's just really nice and cohesive dough. Yeah, and that's what it should look and sound like. So you can take it as a reference. That's what good dough sounds like. And yeah, just mix it and see if all the bread pieces are like nice and soaked up with all the good mixture, and then you can slowly incorporate the flour. Just add little by little so you don't miss any spots. I mean, you probably can just dump it in one go, but I mean I did it in small bits. And I think now you can really see the difference. You can see how like cohesive the dough is and that it just holds up very, very nicely. And after that, we can go over to the stove with our now boiling water. Then you can roll them in your hand. I just use one to have one clean hand because, as you can see, it's a pretty messy process, but you can obviously use both hands. And yeah, they should be about the size of your hands, and then you can just drop them in the water. And yeah, the water should be on high temperature, but you can lower it when it's like boiling too much. And yeah, just add them one by one and another one. And here I'm showing you how I also did it to keep one of my hands clean. You can just press them against the side of your bowl, and yeah, that worked for me fine as well. And then take a sieve and move them around for a bit. They need to cook for about 1 to 2 minutes. They're gonna start floating pretty quickly, but I would recommend just boiling them a little bit longer. But even you can't undercook them, so it's a pretty nice and forgiving recipe. I believe in you. You're gonna do great, and they are really tasty, so give it a try. And then when they're done, you can sift them out and yeah, show some love and start with the sauce. I started heating and like getting my leek translucent, or I tried to get my leek to be more cooked through. And then I added vegetable stock and let the leek cook down, and added the mushrooms and put the lid back on. And for spices, I used oregano, and I added some cream. Like I said, the measurements or the exact measurements are down in the video descriptions. You could also add some white wine for taste, but I decided not to. And yeah, just put the lid on, set it on a, low temperature, and then we're done. We're gonna have a little taste. Ooh, perfect. Oh, the right amount of salty. Salt is not spicy, I'm sorry. Oh, my white ancestors, they just came through. And then we're gonna let it simmer for like 1 more minute. I'm gonna plate it up, and I'm gonna see you soon. And now I'm trying to be a parsley bae. Very nice. I mean, it's kind of green. You can only see everything green, but I mean, it looks gorgeous. Then, have a great time, have a great day. It's a spot. It's crazy. And if you're wondering, that's what they look like from inside.